then you too can offer a home to a tiny baby chocobo.
Where's it go to the bathroom?
So, afternoon everyone, how are y'all doing?
Very good.
I assume y'all know what we're here. What the hell's going on? I'm so confused.
Oh my god, this is not the Tekken panel?
Who is this Enix you're talking about?
Hello, help on Tekken.
That's all I know.
You're not looping.
Welcome to ye old Final Fantasy VII / Square-Enix Panel 7. My name is Chris. How y'all doing? My wife will be sitting there later. She's in our house. Time being. My wife. My wife. My wife. My wifey. And I'm a blogger / nerd at large.
Woo-hoo.
Clips on like 10 years ago. I don't know. I'm a pretty bitch. And I'm done.
Hello, I'm a Flippy. I like Final Fantasy, which is why I'm here. So yeah, I've been playing Final Fantasy XI for too long, and I'm gay because I played a lot of the older ones on emulators, and because I didn't have systems like that back in the day. So yeah, I'm caught up a little bit. And,
Everyone starts somewhere.
I'm excited for 14 and 13. I'm slowly hacking away at. So I'm there, guys. I like to rub the chocobos and watch them
and my name is Ray. Pretty much, I got into RPGs, when I was, like a young teenager. So of course, my first one, pretty much, since there was a lot of hype, was Final Fantasy VII, and I still love that game to death. And since then, I've pretty much been, tackling other Final Fantasies as well as other Square-Enix RPGs like Xenogears, which I just saw something on this.
Exactly.
Which I just saw something on this laptop that made me cry a little bit on the inside. But so yeah, pretty much I've progressed. Like her, I play Final Fantasy XI a lot. Nice hat.
The one dude who decided to love
Goblins.
Right. God bless that dude.
And of course, I'd be playing Final Fantasy 13 right now, but now is the part where my 50-inch DLP TV decided to take a crap on me. So, thank you, Sean Ewing. But yeah, essentially this panel, we're not overly technical. We don't keep up exactly on the history of specific things within the company itself. This essentially is mainly made for pretty much, we're pretty much fans. We're not going to claim to know everything in the world. It's
well, I
pretty
will.
much
Not Final Fantasy related, but everything else I will.
But pretty much, we're fans just like you guys, and we're pretty much here, nice idle chit-chat about fandom and everything like that, as well as, from the newer games down to some of the older games. So, with that being said, with E3 being here, and we just also got a recent Final Fantasy XI, we might as well start going with the new games before we go into the old. And I think that's what you wanted to do.
Parasite Eve 3, Parasite Eve 3, Parasite Eve 3. Alright, let me cite. It's a one-woman army / game. Apparently, Aya's new power, she could jump bodies.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of like, what was that game? The Sect, the Trapped for the PS1. She could jump like other people's bodies, take over, and they'll turn into a hot blonde with a gun. And I'm all about that. And that's all we know.
The music's being written by Yoko, so.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the Parasite Eve PSP. Their birthday. Aside from that, Kingdom Hearts 3D was announced. It's a new game. It's not 3. It's what we know. As far as Kingdom Hearts 3, because I know we're like 12 pushes later. What's going on Kingdom Hearts 3? Where's Kingdom Hearts 3? We want Kingdom Hearts 3.
2.509.
Yeah. Apparently, we're still working on Versus 13 for the last umpteen years, and we're not getting 3 until Versus 13 finishes sometime in 2015 at this rate. Yeah, seriously, they rolled through E3 without a video for Versus 13, so I assume Tokyo Game Show, but
So I decided to also just look up some random clips from E3 because I haven't been able to look up a lot of clips at all. And the first thing that you type in when you type in E3 2010 Square-Enix, is this wonderful, wonderful video that is pretty much called Xenogears Remake.
What?
It's a lie.
Yeah.
heard about
I knew someone was going to say
Like
that.
5 dudes might Twitter like, Xenogears Remake, Xenogears Remake!
I'm like, oh my god, look
What?
at this,
What?
Chris. And then as you read under it, yes, it's all fake. And I'm like,
No!
and all I could think about was that video of Final Fantasy VII we saw in that E3 so many years ago. In which pretty much Square-Enix did the greatest cockblock ever. And by greatest, I mean it actually pretty much hired an employee to come over with a baseball bat and just slam me in the groin with it. In which they pretty much tell you it's not being remade. Like, thanks.
And they're like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll do it. Well, we're not going to do it. You know, it's a lot of demand for it. No, we're not going to do it. You know, we're going to announce a new game. It's not 7, by the way. You're going to care about it, but it's not 7. Stop that!
Here's Dirge Cerberus.
No! Sorry, no!
Bang! In my defense, though, Crisis Core is really great. Though it was a bad end to the game.
Wow. It had to happen.
No, it didn't! No, it didn't! I love Zach. Moving along.
That's another thing.
And pretty much the other game that is not Final Fantasy XIV, which they plagued E3 with, is, I'm not sure how many of you guys like this franchise, but I know you're pretty much going to jump like a little schoolgirl showing Ewing. The new front mission evolved.
Yeah, the whole calling that front mission is the whole Kojima effect, apparently.
Oh.
There's a crossover between Konami and Square-Enix. Since since Square is now handling some Metal Gear licenses, they're doing some play arts and other figurines. If you kill certain bosses in Peace Walker, you can upload them to your PS3, and then you get certain armors based on the Metal Gear bosses, which is really neat. Because honestly, like the biggest
Totally.
versus front mission. Let's be honest, he cares about it. Shogun front mission. Anyone care? 1, 2, 3, 4. My case in point.
Tumbleweed rolls by.
Yeah, PSN's would be kicking with all 4 of us.
That sadly is one of the unfortunate things. Pretty much they, like any company, they want to make money, but, a lot of games don't get as much exposure, so unfortunately you get a lot less of them. I personally...
Vegas story.
Yes.
We're gonna in a few minutes.
I'm sorry.
No, it's true.
Romancing Saga 6.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, I personally have been waiting for another Parasite Eve for way too long. This is just one of those things. But they're like, hey, this fighting system is very bad. I'm like, and you must enjoy opium at your office building every day.
That was weird.
Oh, it was. I don't
No,
know.
the mic.
The mic.
Yeah.
They weren't working
Yes,
very
Lord,
well.
okay. But yeah, I mean,
His name's right.
that game actually got me an A+ in my science class because they were like, "Hey, you need to show us something about mitochondria." Okay. You need a TV for what I'm about to do, and all I did for 15 minutes was play Parasite Eve.
Yeah, but
Awesome.
this brings to a 90-minute Parasite Eve discussion. I'm really fine with that. I really like Parasite Eve a whole bunch.
And she was like, "This is kind of disgusting," because it was pretty much the scene where they explained the mitochondria and how you remember in the beginning where the rat transformed. It was pretty much that I showed.
I did a similar science project, but I just made a whole bunch of Jello and got raisins.
Well, mine involves me taking a Pepsi in front of my science class and playing a video game for 15 minutes and getting an A. Mine's better.
Are you kind of surprised Parasite Eve isn't more popular than it is? I mean, right on the back they say an epic masterpiece that can only come from the creators of Final Fantasy VII, so it's obvious who they were aiming for.
Here's the deal with that.
You know?
The problem with Parasite Eve was it started a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman in New York City. Japan is not going to give a crap ass about that. They want short-made character, booby lady, robot, dog, whatever, like 6, 7 chicks, and say.
You know what? This actually brings up a really good example. What was the name of that video game? The one that came out on the DS that was really popular.
Oh, The World Ends With You?
The World Ends With You.
It's a great game.
It's a great game.
And it's sold 5
And
times
it's
in
so
Japan.
popular in Japan.
No,
but
it tanked Japan.
it tanked Japan?
Tanked Japan,
Oh, it
they
tanked
brought it over
Japan.
here.
But they brought it over here, and we pretty much ate it up. We didn't, make stellar sales on it, but it definitely, was a lot better than what happened in Japan.
It outsold Persona 4 here.
And it unfortunately is the same thing with Parasite Eve. It's essentially the new Parasite Eve. We liked it.